Let's find the roots of the given logarithmic function. Okay, this one's a little tricky because, again, we have two logarithms that are added together. Now, since they have the same base, I can actually rewrite this as a product as x minus 24 times x. Right? That's one of the properties of logarithms. If you are adding two logs together, well, then you can multiply the two interiors in one single logarithm. Okay, it's kind of a way to simplify it. At least it gives you a way to solve these types of problems. Okay, so let's distribute the x, just to write this in an alternate form that we can actually work with here. So x squared minus 24x is in the logarithm base 5. Okay, to find the roots, remember, you set the function equal to 0 and solve it. Okay, so I'm going to scoop that down here because this is all that matters right now. Okay, I want to get rid of the log base 5, so remember our move here is to make 5 the base on both sides, and then write in our exponents as what was originally given to us. So that's my left exponent, that's my right exponent. Those cancel out to leave me with x squared minus 24x. And 5 to the 0 power is 1. Subtract 1 from both sides. Wrong button there. And I end up with this quadratic equation, x squared minus 24x minus 1. Okay. Now this one is not factorable, so let's go ahead and use the quadratic formula. A is 1, right, the understood number in front of x squared. B is negative 24, the number in front of x. And C is the constant, negative 1. So if you remember the quadratic formula, x is negative b plus minus square root b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Okay, so let's plug all that in. So negative b is negative 24 plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Okay, so now negative 24 is 24 plus or minus square root 24 squared is 576 plus 4, because 4 times 1 times negative 1 is a negative 4, minus a negative 4 is a positive 4. All of this is over 2. Okay. 576 plus 4 is 580. So I need the square root of 580. I'm going to leave some space there for a second. Okay, so off to the side here, I need to rewrite square root of 580. Okay, well, I don't know exactly what that is, so I'm going to make a factored tree. This is 58 times 10. 10 is 2 times 5. Those are prime numbers, so I'll circle those two branches. I'll stop there. 58 is, I don't know, what is, got some options, but 2 times 29. I don't have a lot of options there. 29 is a prime number. Okay, so 29 times 2 times 2 times 5. Or in order, 2 times 2 times 5 times 29. Okay, remember this is simplifying radicals. You can always look back at earlier videos and see how to do that. Where we go into this in more detail. Anyway, we have a pair of 2's. That's 4. 2 times 2 is 4. The square root of 4 is 2. So the 2 is on the outside of that square root. The 5 and the 29 have to hang back. and 5 times 29 is 145. So this is plus or minus 2 the square root of 145. Finally, I can simplify this. 24 divided by 2 is 12. 2 divided by 2 is 1, so just 1, the square root of 145. Now I have to check 12 plus or minus the square root of 45. Just so I have a number that's approximately equal to, let's see, 12 plus the square root of 145, as plus or minus, it's not going to make sense here, is about 24.04. And 12 minus the square root of 145 is about negative 0.04. The reason why I'm separating this is because I want to check to see if they both work. Remember, I'm not allowed to plug in a 0 or negative into the radical, okay, or into the logarithm. I'm not allowed to do that. Okay, so it's okay if I plug in that 24.04, because if I plug it in here for x, I'll still end up with a positive number. If I plug it in here for x, it's still a positive number. Everything's good. But what about the negative 0.04? Well, if I plug it in here, I get a negative, right? Because negative minus a negative is going to be a negative. Also, we get a negative here. So it fails on both of those accounts. So, finally, I am able to say that my root is not going to include the negative one. Throw that out. It's just going to be 12 plus the square root of 145. And let me write that all the way back at the beginning, just to clear up this ugly problem here. My root is 12 plus the square root of 145.